أعوذ بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. أياما معدودات فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر. وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين. فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له وأن تصوموا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر. يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون. وإذا سألك عبادي عني فإني قريب أجيب دعوة الداع إذا دعان فليستجيبوا لي وليؤمنوا بي لعلهم يرشدون صدق الله العلي العظيم.
MashaAllah, that's a very, very, very beautiful recitation of the Holy Quran by Brother Mustafa Ali. It's just so nice to hear the Quran being recited in the holy month.
It's very soothing for the soul, I think.
Indeed,
Very
indeed.
mashallah.
And we're looking forward to hearing from Brother Ibrahim with these du'as. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Good to see you. How you doing, sir?
Good to see you. Alhamdulillah, how are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Our
And we're
pleasure,
looking
our
forward
pleasure.
to this segment as well, where you're going to be talking about the du'as in the holy
Inshallah.
month. So today's one we're going to discuss is dua for the beginning of the holy month of Shahr Ramadan.
Yes, inshallah.
So would you like to talk us through the dua and the
Of course,
time?
definitely. Inshallah. One beautiful thing, generally, du'as, it's just that you calling upon God, having conversation with God. And beautiful way to start the month of God, the month of Allah, is through a du'a. So there's this du'a which is recommended to be reciting in the beginning of the month. And in this du'a we have, of course, du'as mentioned in Mafatih al-Jinan, the book we have of du'as. And it talks about the beginning of Ramadan and what Ramadan is. So it's the month in which the Quran was revealed. And at the end of it, it's us seeking Allah to help us in observing the fast of this beautiful month. So if I may recite it, inshallah.
Bismillah.
Oh,
to start
please,
off with.
please.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم إنه قد دخل شهر رمضان اللهم رب شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن وجعلته بينات من الهدى والفرقان اللهم فبارك لنا في شهر رمضان وأعنا على صيامه وصلواته وتقبله منا وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Mashallah, it's so beautiful.
Thank
Thank you
you very much.
so
Jazakumullah
much.
khair.
So inshallah, with the meaning, for those who are not
Yes.
familiar with Arabic, what's the gist of the dua?
So it starts off with, "O Allah, the month of Ramadan has entered. O Allah, the Lord of the month of Ramadan, in which you have revealed the Quran." Of course, that is based on the Quranic ayah, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن, in which the Quran was revealed, making it a guidance to the people and a clear proof. So, O Allah, please bless us in this month and help us observe in fasting and offering prayers in it, and accept from us. See this last part of this dua, I think is very beautiful as well. Accept from us, accept these a'mal that we're doing towards you. So that's the general translation, the gist of the dua.
I think you're right, because I think that last bit is what really strikes, that we can do amals, we can do lots of recitations, but it's the acceptance, isn't it, from Allah, that is so crucial, that we shouldn't just assume that we are doing all this ibadah and it's accepted. Well, wow, look at me, I'm doing all this.
Yeah.
But actually it's the barakah of Allah's acceptance towards us, isn't it?
Definitely. And you know what is, it's with dua in general, and I believe the month of Ramadan, the month of dua, and that a promise that is given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran. Ad'uni astajib lakum. Call upon me, I will answer you. It's a promise that is given from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But of course, this promise is to be granted if it's done in the correct way. So it's not
Yeah.
it's not a thing of, for example, one thing we do know is many of our brothers and sisters right now are sitting exams. Shahr Ramadan and GCSE exams, A levels, even university exams.
Tough time for the youngsters. Tough times. Yeah,
Very tough time. Now a lot of them, they might be sitting back saying, "Oh Allah, I'm fasting. Do you know what? Let me get some good grades," and then they don't end up getting anything. Now there's a problem there, because yes, Allah has promised you to accept your du'a, but He wants to see the amal from you. He wants you to see work towards it. A very beautiful story, if I may mention, and I love mentioning this always. Mary, the mother of Jesus, 3 days, no food, no drinking. She's pregnant with Isa alayhi wa ala nabina wa alayhi afdal salatu wa salam. Now, where does she turn to? She turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless her with some nutrition. Now, in the narrations we have, it mentions that by that palm tree that she was, the dates never just came down straight away. No, she was asked to push the palm tree. Now, I don't know, I come from Iraq, I'm not very sure about your backgrounds, but a palm tree, if you've seen it, and tried
it's
to
not easily
shake it,
pushable.
can't shake it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
especially as a pregnant lady in her last days. Or,
There you go. She's weak. She's
Trimester,
very weak.
last trimester.
Yeah.
Not easy, not easy. Yeah,
So impossible for her to shake it,
Yeah.
definitely. So the narrations that we have is she put her hand on this palm tree. By just putting her hand on it, the days started falling down upon her. So it just shows that amal, working towards
Action,
it is
action.
Yes,
Action.
the
definitely.
effort, isn't it, as well? The effort and the,
Yeah.
you have to take that first step, and then Allah will obviously reward you.
Definitely, 100%. Narration we have from Imam Ali, if I can remember it correctly, he says, "Ad-da'i bila amal, karami bila sahm." So the one who does du'a without any action is like the one who tries to shoot without an arrow. So of course, with a bow and arrow, you can't shoot if you don't have an arrow. What are you shooting? You're not really shooting anything.
No.
So it's a very beautiful narration. Ad-da'i bila amal, karami bila sahm. And it just shows the importance of working towards what you are truly asking for.
So with this dua, obviously the night comes 30th Sha'ban, 29th Sha'ban, and then the holy month of Ramadan is upon us. Is that the best time to recite this? Or is it Sahoor? When is the best time to welcome this month, this dua?
Generally, any dua is beautiful to be recited at any time. There is istihbab, of course, of reciting it. Even, let's take it as an example. I know this is not just mustahab in Ramadan, but dua kumail as an example.
Yeah.
Dua kumail, we have in the narrations, mustahab to recite every single day.
Yeah.
And then he says, if it is difficult upon you to recite it every single day, then recite it once a week.
Yeah.
If it is difficult, then recite it once a month. If it is difficult, and the narration goes on. So generally du'as, yes, they have that specific istihbab, that specific recommendation. However, they're beautiful at any time. However, since the general gist of this dua is asking Allah to grant you tawfiq in fasting, I think this tawfiq that you're asking for isn't just in the start of Ramadan. Because we all know that as we go through the month of Ramadan, we're going to find difficulties.
Yes.
We're going to find
For
we're
sure.
still going to need that
sure.
tawfiq.
Yeah.
During the month of Ramadan, we're doing a'mal every single day. We want that last part, accept from us. We want that during every single day. So definitely to recite it during every single day is beautiful. And if you realize, it's very short as well.
Yes.
Like even with me reciting it slowly, it didn't take a minute.
Yeah.
So
I remember I was in 1 year in Najaf,
Yeah.
Imam Ali Shrine, and we were approaching this holy month of Ramadan, and they had started to have this on the loudspeakers, the dua playing. It was
Beautiful.
so beautiful, and you wish that that tawfiq to actually spend the nights in Najaf, to be to welcome the days
100%.
in, and bless those people who are there, and inshallah they remember us in their duas. But
Inshallah.
it just gives you that feeling, even as you're reciting that feeling of you're in such a blessed month that Allah is showering His mercy upon you. And for us to take that opportunity. So in as you'd say, like in terms of, Quran is obviously it's revealed in this holy month. It has its blessings. There's so many. What about du'a though? What would you say is the importance of reciting du'as in this holy month?
Du'as in general is seeking closeness to Allah.
For sure.
It's
It's
a direct
building that
conversation.
relationship with Allah
Yeah.
subhanahu wa ta'ala.
It's direct conversation. The
Yeah.
same way we're having conversation,
Yeah.
this is me having conversation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh Allah, I ask you. You're directly asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not only that, the month of Ramadan has been made such a blessed month by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. in which Allah has chosen it to be the best of days, the best of nights. And we see that in the khutbah of the Prophet in welcoming the month of Ramadan. He says, إِنَّهُ قَدْ أَقْبَلَ شَهْرُ رَمَضَانِ. The month of Ramadan has approached us. بِالْبَرَكَةِ وَالرَّحْمَةِ وَالْمَغْفِرَةِ. With what? Has approached us with mercy.
Mercy.
Has approached us with mercy. Now let's take this chance as a mercy. Mercy is coming towards us. Let's take it. Let's grab it. Let's talk to Allah. Oh Allah, shower us with more mercy. Give me more. Of course, us as a servant, we're always lacking that something. We can never say, "Oh, I have complete. I'm fine."
No, and Islam is a religion of mercy. Islam is a religion of mercy.
Definitely. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We have not sent you but as a mercy to mankind. And the Quran, it mentions beautifully. But in this khutbah, it mentions a few very beautiful parts. If I may go through them very quickly. He says, the Prophet ﷺ, شهر هو عند الله أفضل الشهور. A month. By Allah, it is the best of months. وأيامه أفضل الأيام. And its days are the best of days. ولياليه أفضل الليالي. And the nights are the best of nights. وساعاته أفضل الساعات. Not only days and nights, no. The hours are the best of hours. هو شهر دعيتم فيه إلى ضيافة الله. And I think this is very beautiful. A month in which you have been invited to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
To a banquet.
Yeah.
Spiritual banquet, yeah.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you, come, this is as you mentioned, the banquet. Here, welcome. And then it says, وَجَعَلْتُمْ فِيهِ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْكَرَامَةِ أَنْفَاسُكُمْ فِيهِ تَسْبِيحٌ. This is the blessing of Ramadan. Your breathing is tasbih. So us, while we're fasting, just by breathing in and out, which is just a normal action, we are gaining thawab from it. وَنَوْمُكُمْ فِيهِ عِبَادَةٌ. Sleeping in it is ibadah. وَعَمَلُكُمْ فِيهِ مَقْبُولٌ. And your actions in it are accepted. But of course, like we mentioned earlier, we have to work towards the acceptance. وَدُعَاءُكُمْ فِيهِ مُسْتَجَابٌ. This is the part that we're talking about. And your dua in it is mustajab. It is accepted. It is answered. فَاسْأَلُوا اللَّهَ رَبُّكُمْ بِنِيَّاتٍ صَادِقَةٍ. So ask Allah, your Lord, with pure intentions. Again, focusing on what we mentioned earlier. We must approach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with pure intentions. وَقُلُوبٍ طَاهِرَةٍ. And clean hearts, purified hearts. And يُوَفِّقَكُمْ لِصِيَامِهِ. To grant you tawfiq for fasting the month of Ramadan.
Inshallah.
Because without it, we can't. Without this tawfiq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we see many times the month of Ramadan approaches. Sometimes it's not in our hands. We fall ill.
Yeah.
We can't fast.
Yeah.
It is a true tawfiq that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us.
Give us tawfiq, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much. Sorry, we've run out of
Thank you
time
very
this
much.
morning.
That was very nice to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Shared so much beautiful wisdom there, and inshallah we have opportunity more.
Jazakumullah
Allah
khair.
blesses us, and we meet again inshallah another
Thank you very
morning.
much, inshallah.
Up next we have Baraka Pearls with Dua Makhzumi.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Dua Makhzumi, and I'm here to show you the Holy Quran and how it can improve your life. Do you find it difficult preparing for the holy month of Ramadan? Do you wish that you could gain more from the holy month of Ramadan? Do you wish that you could gain more from the beginning of the holy month of Ramadan on spiritual level? Do you know that reading and reciting the Holy Quran can make a huge impact? The preparation process for the holy month is very important because this month is full with blessings and mercy that showers upon a Muslim from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, in order to increase your fair share in the feast of blessings and mercy, try preparing for the month of Ramadan beforehand so that the transition remains easy for you and you make the most out of it. So what should you be doing? Well, in Mafatih al-Jinan, there are daily prayers and supplications and du'as that are recommended for us to read day by day in the holy month of Ramadan. Those du'as and prayers are specifically for this holy month that can help build your spiritual soul, erase all your sins. In a matter of fact, each specific prayer and supplication has its own special benefits. For example, Imam Ali alayhi salam says, "He who prays the first night of the month of Ramadan, 4 rak'ats, in the first verse he reads Alhamdu, and 15 times Surah Al-Ikhlas, Allah will give them thawab al-shuhada, which are the benefits of dying as a martyrdom, and He will erase their sins. And in the day of judgment, you will be rescued. What better can you ask more than that? By all means, try to remember to read those prayers and those supplications daily by day in the holy month of Ramadan, since they are full with many benefits. Now, what can we do that can better assist us with the preparation? 1. Have the right intention. Try to have the right intention preparing for the holy month of Ramadan. Everything you do and every good deed you complete, make sure it's only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 2. Get yourself in the habit of tasbih. Are you in the habit of using swearing words? So get yourself in the habit of tasbih to avoid yourself from using bad languages. When you start performing tasbih a month before the arrival of the holy month of Ramadan, by the time the month comes, you are in the habit of reciting tasbih. 3, and lastly, Quran. Reading Quran in the month of Ramadan is 70 times greater than reciting it in any other month. So get out your Quran and start reading a chapter so that when Ramadan comes, you're used to reading a chapter every day. تقبل الله أعمالكم ورمضان مبارك.
Now it's nutrition and health. I have with me a NLP practitioner and life coach, Fahima Mohammed. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
How you doing, sister? You okay?
Very well, thank you.
Good, good, good. And yourself, Brother Ben, the chef, how are you doing, sir?
Very well, how are you?
I'm excellent. I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to today's recipe. It's been a tough fast,
Yes.
hungry days,
Yes.
but alhamdulillah. So what do you have in store for our beloved viewers?
Right, so today we have a fantastic recipe. It's really simple, full of nutrients, really easy for people to do at home when they're feeling a bit tired, you know. So it's a date and almond ball. So it's sort of like a power snack, really like sugar boost, natural sugar boost, which is really great. Really simple, so only a few ingredients. Almonds, cinnamon, vanilla, almond butter, and some dates. Now, dates are really important in our religion, full of fantastic nutrients as well. I'm just going to go ahead and begin the recipe.
It's really great that you mentioned that, you know, we have to have dates because it has so much nutrients and it sort of, you know, gives us everything that we require. So having this sort of recipe with a difference, because normally we have dates on its own a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So this would be quite interesting to see how we can actually make it a little bit more different. And I know because not everybody would actually want to have dates, even though it's got all the, you know, the sugars and the energy boost that's in there. So hopefully this could be something that we could actually try with the difference.
Are there any particular
Absolutely.
vitamins that the dates contain that would be, I guess,
Yeah,
more
it
helpful at
has.
this time of the year?
Of course, you know, we have all these nutrients that it provides with regards to sugars and fibers, and it helps you with your energy. And it's actually a healthier option to most sugars generally. So that's what's really going to be beneficial for us today. And I have a lot of clients that come to me, you know, complaining and wanting to know how are we going to cope. Go ahead.
Go for it. Hey, don't let us stop you.
Just get this noisy bit out
Go
of
for
the
it.
way.
Just go for it, babe. Just go for it.
So what we want to do, we want to blitz the almonds into a kind of coarse meal sort of thing, like a sort of cereal meal. Not too much. You don't want to fine powder or anything. That's
And what I
fine.
like about what you said is it's actually quick, simple,
Really
very
simple.
easy.
Really simple.
So something that we could actually do in the morning, even if we're late, not having to prepare beforehand.
Okay. So there's no need for the cooker to go on, no oil to be heated or nothing of that nature. Okay.
This is totally fresh. No cooking needed. I mean, cooking often takes away some of the essential vitamins and nutrients out of the ingredients we use. So
Okay.
recipes like this are fantastic for
So this is what we call a raw food, raw food diet. Yep,
raw
yeah,
food
absolutely.
power.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is it.
And
Keeping
that's what I
keeping all the
find.
enzymes alive.
Of course, that's what I find. I find a lot of people, they want to eat healthily. They want to actually, you know, benefit from Ramadan,
Yeah.
especially having the foods that's going to fill them up for longer and give them all the benefits, but it's having the knowledge. So as a life coach, when people come to me, it's not about actually giving them health and nutrition advice, but for me to guide them to get the knowledge as to where to go with. And we usually have habits. And we normally start Ramadan without having those habits in place. So we need to sort of generate these habits beforehand so that we can actually, you know, find Ramadan easy. Because a lot of us will just start Ramadan on the first day, just doing what we need to do only on the first day. But we need to practice beforehand.
Exactly.
So what we're doing is just sort of blending up the dates just to break them down a little bit, and then we're going to add this amazing almond butter.
So you're using raw almonds and you're using almond butter.
Yes,
that
double
seems
whammy.
different. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
Is that to give it the consistency in order to make it into the ball that you need?
Yeah, it's to give it the texture that you want and to add richness and flavour at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Fahima, what about say for example, people have different, I don't know, dispositions where they, you know, like spiritual maladies in terms of, not anxiety in terms of mental health, but anxiety on a spiritual level. Do you ever come across people that might need some tips and pointers with their food intake? Is that something that can help in terms of your coaching?
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, a lot of people are quite apprehensive and, you know, thinking that, you know, Ramadan's coming, and as much as it's a spiritual month where we can benefit, but the food aspect is really important.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, it will help with your worship. It will help with your daily sort of dealings with regards to, you know, working and going
concentration.
to school, concentration, everything. So I help them with regards to gaining that extra knowledge. You know, go to the GP, check yourself out, because at the same time, we don't know ourselves and our bodies. Ramadan is there to help us to actually know ourselves better and gain better habits. You know, not just in worship, but actually our health is so important.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
that will benefit us, you know, in our mind.
Health
in our
is
body.
wealth. Health is wealth.
Absolutely.
Hey Ben, don't let us
You
stop
said
you.
it.
You got
No.
you got to
This is actually
tread on.
Yes, this is coming to the final
It's
part.
not because I'm over eager. Don't. I'm just
I
enthusiastic.
can
It's
see you're
enthusiasm.
hungry. I
It's
can see you're
enthusiasm.
hungry. So this is the final blitz now. We want to bring it all together into that tight consistency to form balls. If it does need a little extra liquid, we can just add a little bit of water. But let's see. See it all coming together now.
So
Few more.
would you say it's a fun diet for like, say, mums would want to prepare something sweet for children, a healthy option?
Yeah,
Mum,
this
I want
is-
some candy, I want some chocolate. Is this a...
This is fantastic for kids. It's sweet, delicious, no added sugar, just natural sugars.
Natural sugars. The
Fantastic.
body processes them
I think it's
easier. Yeah,
fantastic,
yeah.
especially for children. And even just the look and consistency of it. So having it in this way, it's a fun way, definitely, and it can actually, you know, be good for, you know, children that are even fasting.
Absolutely.
That wouldn't normally have dates, but they will actually have that in their diet.
Absolutely.
Do you work with a lot of mums who have food queries?
I have a variety of clients, and yes, there is the concern, of course, you know, with children especially starting to fast as to how they're going to cope. So having the knowledge as to your body, for example,
Yeah.
and then secondly, you know, what sort of foods out there that is going to benefit you for longer. For example, it's going to be, you know, really long days in London in Ramadan. So you need to have something that's going to give you that extra boost and energy and keep you fuller for longer.
Yeah, yeah.
So there are a lot of, you know, foods out there that, you know, provide all of this if we have the knowledge to actually go out there and seek it and actually make, you know, recipes and ingredients that will help us in our sort of food and daily lives. And
So
it's
it's
not
something
just
about the
Ramadan.
motivation, because as you said, the information, we're in the information age, but are we
How you use it.
motivated, or are we actually being strategic in where we
Of
obtain
course,
what is
it's not
out
even
there?
about being motivated. I find the way in which I help people is just opening up a lens and opening up a perspective that they've never had before and never seen before. So that's what it's about, and looking at things differently. And when you look at things differently, instead of it being a negative, there is an alternative positive, just with the knowledge that you can gain.
So the glass is half full.
Always.
Absolutely, absolutely. So,
Hey, don't pause for too long, Ben. No.
no.
Keep it
You're
moving.
too
Keep it
ready
moving.
for
Keep
that.
it moving.
I've just had a check of the consistency. and
Right,
It was a little bit dry, so I did add a little bit of water.
Okay.
Hopefully that will bring it together. Really simple recipe,
I
so
can't
easy.
believe how simple and
Yeah.
easy that is.
Ben, that does look good. That does look good.
And there we go. So now it's just a case of forming the balls. And this is pretty much ready to go.
I figure this is a bit where the children would come in.
Yes, exactly. We've done,
ideal
we've
for
done
them.
the noisy bit, get the kids to
Yeah.
do the messy bit.
We've done the bit with the blade. Adults have done the bit with the blade. So as they say, don't try this at home, children, without your parents' supervision.
Of course.
That's it, that's it. Now this mixture can be a little sticky, so I would suggest just rubbing a little bit of water on your hands. That will stop the mixture from sticking and allow you to.
Oh, like when
create
they
the
used to,
balls.
when you used to make stuff in nursery, and they would say, put,
With a
you know, a
patty.
little bit of flour.
That's
Put a little
it,
bit of
yeah.
flour in your hands so you don't stick to the palms
Except
of
that
your
you
hands.
don't want to eat that putty. You want to eat this.
Yeah, okay, okay.
go.
Subhanallah, this
Oh,
is
wow.
looking good.
Okay.
Yep, yeah.
Great.
So touch my water.
Yeah, that's the thing about dates. They have that versatility.
Exactly. One of my favorite dishes is sticky date pudding.
Mm-hmm.
Not
wow.
not so healthy,
Okay.
but when you're feeling
Yeah.
a bit naughty, fantastic. Dates are an amazing ingredient.
Yeah, they're a famous food. And as I mentioned in the Holy Quran, in the story, mother of Isa, Jesus, peace and blessings be upon him, you know, shake the date tree and
Yes.
dates will fall down upon you. So it's, yeah, mashallah, yes. It's good for expectant mothers.
Yep.
It has so
Absolutely.
many benefits. It's actually, not being marketed or advertised or, promoted for
What
what
sort of
it really
benefits?
is.
What sort of benefits?
The benefits are huge with regards to, like I said, when people have they feel like they need intake of sugar,
Mm-hmm.
if they feel like they need energy, if they also want to benefit with regards to just having, a healthy way of living,
Yeah.
so that, these sort of ingredients are just, the basis of what you need to sort of worry about. And I think that the thing that you can use with dates is so versatile. Like you said, you can use with cakes, you can make it with, these balls, you can have it on its own. It could be even as a spread. I know a lot of, especially the Middle Eastern, when for breakfast, they have date syrup. So
Yeah,
they have
okay,
that with
all
bread.
right,
Yes, and that's actually quite a good breakfast to have.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's very sweet. It tastes very sweet, and you even put it's called sort of like the tamarind, which is with the date syrup,
Yeah.
and then you mix it with bread, and that could be breakfast
So,
as well.
so is there, you talking about these benefits again? Is there a difference between the benefits for male and female? Like as in expectant mothers, we say, okay, there's a child inside of her, but is there some benefits? I want to encourage the brothers also, so they need to feel like there's something.
Do you know, with health,
available.
it's obviously for both, for
Yeah.
all humans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever differentiate between gender when it comes to that. Obviously, with pregnancy and things like that, there are like folic
There's
acids
differences,
that's needed,
yeah,
there's
yeah, yeah.
differences that's needed, there's extra nutrients and health, that's required. But again, it's knowing where you are and what stage you are, and knowing your body as to what it is. Because a lot of times I have clients come to me, I don't know why I'm, dieting and it doesn't work for me, because we don't know ourselves. We know,
What do you think about that
fasting,
word dieting?
I think it's
Is
over.
it loaded? Is it a bit of a loaded word? People think of diet and they think, oh, this is regimental, it's going to take away the fun.
No, it is, because it's the way in which
It's a
you look
negative
at it.
spin.
Because every diet, everyone, it's not going to work for you what it is going to work for me.
Yeah.
So you have to know your body. I encourage people to go and check, themselves at the GP, especially, when it comes to time of Ramadan, because it will encourage them to understand themselves, their health. And then it will understand what is it that, their body requires in particular.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And it's same for dieting.
The uniqueness,
One
the
diet is
uniqueness.
not going to work for everybody.
It's consistency.
So
It-
wait,
you know.
Ben,
Yes.
Ben. This looks marvelous. This looks excellent.
Yeah.
Can it be decorated with anything, or is
It
this
can.
is this a finished item? Or
Very
let's
versatile.
expand. Let's
This
expand a
is
little bit.
Very versatile. I mean, you can customize it your own way. Add different fruit, more dried fruit, cranberries, dried apricots would be amazing. Also, you can coat it in different things. Like, why not coat it in more almonds? Add some chocolate nibs or something.
Woo.
You know?
Have you got like a bit of a sticky consistency so that it'll be easy to coat?
Yeah. I mean, you
Or
could.
you add water to it in
No,
order
no,
to do
that's-
the coating?
You could add nuts straight onto that, and
Okay.
and they will
Okay.
stick,
It will
yeah.
hold.
Okay.
Perfect.
Fahima, ladies before gentlemen.
Okay, thank you.
Go
Let
for
me
it.
try it.
Hope you enjoy it, guys.
Go ahead.
It's dates like I've never had before.
It's different, but
It's
something
really
familiar.
nice.
And that's the key.
I like the crunch, the sweetness, because I do like dates. I'll be honest with you, I do like dates.
You got a
Um,
sweet tooth?
Yeah, and it helps me to avoid the sugars, the
Thing is-
actual simple sugars, which are not that good for you.
Exactly, and even though it's sweet, it's not too sweet.
Yeah.
Not
which is what I
overpowering.
like. it's really nice in that sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Full of nutrients, full of just fantastic ingredients that really going to sustain you over the Ramadan period. I mean, almonds, high in calcium, all those sort of great stuff, good for bones, you know. It's going to really do a good job on your body.
Excellent, excellent. Female, takeaway message before we finish up.
Well,
Been a
I would
pleasure.
say generally, definitely use dates as an ingredient for whatever it is that you want to use, because it is very versatile and you can actually use it for a lot of ingredients. And this is one great recipe which is easy, quick, and it will definitely be perfect for, you know, fasting during Ramadan. So hopefully we can actually use this, and you know, you can obviously add to it like you said, and it will be brilliant for you.
Excellent, excellent. It's been great, guys. It's been great. Thank you
for
both.
having me.
Thank you both. And next up we have Ramadan etiquette with Sister Masuma Jaffa, Ramadan preparations.
Wow, Brother Bilal, that was quite amazing, those date nut rounds. And inshallah, I'll definitely be trying them, and I hope the viewers will be too. And thank you to your guests, Sister Fahima and Brother Ben. And now we're going to be discussing our Ramadan etiquettes, and we're very privileged and honoured to have our guest, Sister Masuma. Assalamu alaikum and welcome.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Thank you.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, thank you.
Good, good. So this beautiful month is, has fast approached, and there's so many hadith and Quran references to this holy month of instructing us, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this opportunity. So for people that are preparing now, we're in the beginning of this beautiful month, how best is it to sort of think ahead of the month, and how best to sort of be able to make the most of this this holy month? What would your suggestions be? And
I think first and foremost, I would suggest that we change our mindset. I think a lot of people stress a lot about the month, especially at the beginning of the month. They worry whether they'll be able to keep the whole fast, you know, the whole month's fast. They worry whether they're going to get thirsty, how it's going to be, is it going to be really hot? And again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran, in Surah Baqarah, verse 185, he tells us that he wants ease for us, he does not want difficulty for us. So by repeating it, he's showing us that it is actually easy. It's like me telling you, you know, I want the food to taste good, I don't want the food to taste bad. So I don't need to repeat it. If I've said I want it to taste good, that's it. So he could have just said, I want ease for you. But the fact that he says he does not want difficulty for us, showing that it is something that he's going to make easy for us. And there's lots of different ways that this ease can come in. So the fact that the fast is much easier in the month of Ramadan than in any other months. The fact that we're told that shaitan is locked up, so it's much easier than to get on that spiritual high and try to connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the blessings and the barakah that are coming down on this month, on this holy month, makes it easier as well. So I think the first and foremost advice I would give is, let's change our mindset and not worry about the fasts. Let's do the best we can and just leave it up to Allah.
Allah, He will take care of us.
Yeah.
And I think you're absolutely right. It's such a critical point, is that if we start any task, and you know, and obviously this is such a blessed month, that we are positive and thinking that we will be okay because Allah has blessed us. Exactly as you're saying, there's references that He's made it easy for us. He will make it easy. That trust in Him and think everything will be okay,
fine, yeah,
and inshallah
and it will be.
we will hopefully sail through this holy month.
And then I think once we've got that mindset, then it's much easier to think about, okay, what is it that I want out of this month?
Right.
And again, when we're thinking about what we want, we should be looking at what the month is there for. What should the outcome be?
Yeah.
So it's not about me losing weight, it's not about me getting healthier, it's all of these are benefits, but that's not the purpose.
No.
The purpose is, like Allah says in, again, Surah Baqarah, verse 183, He says, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you may get taqwa. Again, it's not that I'm going to fast and I'm going to get it. It's not a certainty.
It's not that, right.
It's, you know, if I do it correctly with the right mindset, not just staying hungry and thirsty, but actually fasting with my whole body, then inshallah I will get taqwa.
So that effort that you put in, then Allah will reward that. So it's
Exactly.
like reaching out with your hand, and Allah will.
Yes, and we only have to reach out a little bit, and Allah will do the rest of it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just making that effort, but ensuring that I'm not just concentrating on the body, where I'm just thinking about the hunger and the thirst, but I'm concentrating on the spirituality.
So how would you split that? So you're obviously thinking about Sahoor, you're thinking about eating, you need to be healthy, you need the long day hours, and then combining that with the spiritual needs. How would you sort of split the two, or would you combine them and say?
Yeah, I'd combine them, because it's when I refrain from sin with my whole body, then I can actually spiritually elevate in this month. So when I'm thinking of fasting, I'm not just thinking about fasting from food and water, but I'm thinking about fasting from all kinds of sins. So ensuring that I'm not saying anything that could be considered a sin, like lying or ghibah or anything like that. I'm not hearing anything that's a sin. I'm not going towards any sins. I'm not hurting anyone with my hands. So it's fasting with my whole body in order that my soul then can elevate towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Okay, so physically, obviously we're restraining from food. What's the impact on the soul when you're not eating, and how is the balance, sort of like the elevation? So we're refraining from the sin, but how will that benefit our sort of?
Well, if you think of us as being made up of two aspects, so we've got the physical body and the spiritual soul. Okay, now because we live in the physical world, we're constantly thinking of our physical body because that's the one that we connect to.
The desires, the needs.
Exactly. So we're our physical body is constantly telling us, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm tired, and we're fulfilling the needs of the physical body. Whereas the soul is the thing that is who I am. The soul is who is going to continue to the next realm. The physical body will be left behind. So God, out of His love and mercy, has given us the month of Ramadan in order for me to now connect to my soul, because I can't take care of the needs of the body. If my body's screaming, I'm hungry, I have to ignore it. It's screaming, I'm thirsty, I have to ignore it. So I can actually then focus on the soul. It's like, if I can give you an example, it's like if you have twins, okay, and you have one loud child and one quiet child. And generally, when it comes to food time, the loud child's screaming, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, and it gets louder and louder and louder. Although you want to feed the quiet child, because all you can hear is the loud child, you're going to feed the loud child. And the loud child will play up, and it'll take you a long time. By the time you've got the loud child fed, you haven't got any time or energy for the quiet child. So you'll do the bare minimum. Now, imagine if I came along and I said to you, okay, let me take the loud child away for a day and just leave you with the quiet child. So you get time to actually spend with the quiet child. You feed it, you talk to him, and you realize the potential this quiet child has. So when I bring the loud child back, now you are driven to actually spend time with the quiet child because you've seen the potential. Same sort of principle. God makes us forget our loud body that's constantly screaming, so that we can actually concentrate on the soul and see the potential of our own souls. So that after the month is over and the body comes back, where we now are taking care of the body the whole day as well, we will still concentrate on the soul because we've seen the potential of our soul.
Absolutely.
And it's really beautiful how He does it. It's such a subtle way, but it really helps me connect to my soul. And the more I connect to my soul, the more stronger my soul gets. And the body may be getting weaker, but the soul is getting stronger and stronger.
That light is shining on that soul, isn't it? And it's elevating. So in terms of that bodily function, so when we're, like you said, we're in our day-to-day, we're just so busy, fulfilling our desires and saying, I need to eat, I can just pick up the food, and then it's so beautiful how you said that it's the soul that needs to elevate and come out and shine through this month. So inshallah, if that's something we feel towards the end of the month, and we've inshallah done a good, we've got to that sort of where you're saying the outcome, and that's where one of the measurements is, I guess, then, right?
Yeah,
so that
exactly. So the taqwa is your God consciousness, you being aware of Allah in every aspect of your life. So again, I think as mothers, we find it very difficult in this holy month, because we feel like we should be, reciting the Holy Quran. We feel like we should be doing this dua and that dua and praying this salah. And because we have children and we have the housework to do and, the cooking and all of that, we feel like we're being torn apart. And I think...
and a lot of young mothers, I've got friends with young children, they say, Zahra, we just don't feel that we're actually benefiting. And you have, you try to give them that encouragement that your children are the ibadah. It's not one or the other, is it?
Exactly. And I think that's important to remember. So I think it's really, really important to remember that as long as whatever I'm doing in this month, if I can do it with the correct niyyah, then it is ibadah. And the correct niyyah means that I'm doing it for the pleasure of Allah and in the way He tells me to do it. So both have to go hand in hand. It's
Yeah.
not just doing it for his pleasure, but doing it in the way he tells me to do it.
That's beautiful, absolutely.
So, you know, even when I'm taking care of my children,
Yeah.
if I'm taking care of my children for the pleasure of Allah, and I'm doing it in the way He wants me to do it, then that is ibadah as well.
Yeah. So even when you're with, so it's, like we were saying, the fasting is the whole body, isn't it? And it's the senses with it. So when you're fasting and you have children or you have parents to take care of or other commitments, jobs, and etc. You can maintain our silence as well, can't we? And even in that, even though we're taking care of others or responsibilities, then we can still do the dhikr of Allah, can't we?
Yes, yeah.
And
Exactly.
also while we're taking care of our relatives, then perhaps refraining from the talking and just thinking about Allah, it would still count to the same.
Yes, I mean, there's lots of things you can do, like you're
Yeah.
saying, dhikr. Again, fasting helps you be more God conscious because as you feel the hunger, you remind yourself, why are you hungry? And then that reminds you the fact that you are doing a wajibat. You know, you're fulfilling a wajibat, you're fulfilling an obligation that God has put on you. So it reminds you of God in wherever you are, whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And that reminder in itself is dhikr. So, you know, it's beautiful, again, that we don't necessarily have to be on the the musalla. You don't have to be on the prayer mat.
Yeah.
You can be doing ibadah in all aspects of your life. Because, okay, we're talking about mothers, but then again, the fathers
Yes.
have to go out to work.
Yes.
And they're working the whole day. So again, how do they then, make sure that they're getting the most of my Ramadan? It's just being aware of Allah, being that, having that God consciousness, whether it is from, saying dhikr all the time or just thinking about Allah, thinking about what I want out of this month, thinking about, I think a lot of self-reflection should happen in this month. I should be thinking about where I am, where I should be, and how do I get from where I am to where I should be.
Okay. So in terms of, somebody who's starting this month, what tips would you give? Because we're coming towards the end of the of this morning. How would you say what would they start? Key points that you think?
Okay,
good
so maybe I can
recommendations?
bring in the hadith of Imam Rida alayhi salam, where he says, where he talks about the month, and he says, first and foremost, forgiveness.
Right.
Okay, so ensure that you gain the forgiveness that is available here.
Yeah.
And again, there's no point asking for a general forgiveness. You need to be very specific. So self-reflection is really, really important,
Excellent,
where I'm
okay.
actually thinking about what I'm asking for forgiveness for, ensuring that I'm not going to go down that road again, make sure that I don't commit those sins again. So that's a sincere forgiveness.
So you say forgiveness from Allah, and then how about each other?
Yeah, so it's righting the wrong.
Right.
So even when I've hurt someone else,
Yeah.
First and foremost, I need to ask God's forgiveness because it's His creation that I've hurt, it's His laws that I've gone against.
Yeah.
And then ensuring that I go and ask the forgiveness of the person who I've hurt. If there is a qaza on me, like if I haven't been praying fajr or if I haven't done something, then again, righting that wrong. If there is a wajibat that I'm not doing, for example, if I'm not wearing hijab, this is the month where I can change.
Yeah.
This is the fact that God has given me this month to
Opportunity,
self-reflect.
yeah.
It's a beautiful opportunity to better myself, to
Yeah.
ensure that I'm, not only am I asking for forgiveness, but I'm moving past that wrong that I've done. The other thing Imam Rida alayhi salam says is that do not enter this month with hatred towards another mu'min. So ensuring that I've sorted out my relationships, that sila ram, that concept of family, my community. There should not be another mu'min that I hate.
Yeah.
I may dislike actions of another mu'min, but I cannot hate another mu'min. That's really, really important. So there's a lot of concept of the ummah, concept of,
Togetherness.
togetherness,
unity,
exactly, yeah. So, breaking the fast together, inviting people to your homes, going to the
Do you
mosque
think-
together.
I mean, we're lucky, we're fortunate, most of us, where we live in communities. And those people who don't have a community, would you say even inviting a neighbour who's not a Muslim, would that be a good way for them to share
Yes,
their
of
sort
course.
of,
Again,
experience? I
not
mean,
only would you be, because we're all God's creation. So, not only are you sort of sharing, your food with someone else, though you've been fasting the whole day, but that would be amazing tabligh, amazing da'wah, where you're actually showing the other person the akhlaq of of a Muslim.
Yeah,
this is how we're meant to behave.
Yeah.
So it would be beautiful.
And so you said forgiveness, writing a self-reflection, building a community, unity, What else would you say?
Preparing for the big nights. I think, you know, before we know it, the Laylatul Qadr comes along and we're not prepared. So actually thinking about what I want from Laylatul Qadr, looking at the amals from beforehand. So the 3 surahs that we're recommended to recite, Surah Rum, Surah Ankabut, Surah Dukhan, actually looking at them. Surah Qadr, again, looking at the whole of Surah Qadr, looking at the tafsir of Surah Qadr to actually understand Laylatul Qadr a little bit deeper. Looking at the du'as, you know, we have like amazing du'as which are recommended throughout the whole month, but specifically on Laylatul Qadr as well. So it's really, really important that I understand du'as. Again, there's no point reciting a du'a in Arabic when I don't understand what I'm saying. So it's really important that I understand what because du'a is when you're asking Allah for something. It's not like Quran. Quran should be recited in Arabic, whereas a du'a should be understood. So
Touch
even
your
if,
heart,
and if you're asking God for something and He gives it to you, and you don't know what you've asked Him for, you won't even know you've got it. Which so it makes no sense to actually recite a dua like a tick box exercise where you're just reciting it but you have no idea what you're saying. So either ensure that I know the translation of it, so when I'm reciting the Arabic I know obviously the words are from the A'imah, so they're beautiful words, so it's better to recite it in Arabic, but I need to know what I'm asking for. So actually looking at the translations from beforehand, the Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq, which actually is, I think, the roadway and how to become a Muslim, a Shia. It explains it so beautifully. Dua Tawbah, again, that concept. There are so many. Dua Joshana Kabir, again, invoking God through all His different names. There are so many different du'as, and the Dua Iftatah that we're reciting every single night, and all the small du'as. It's important to know the translation of these.
So even if you've got time just for that one du'a and it's small, but understanding and asking from your heart, it's a place to start for those that are very busy lives.
Yeah, exactly. It's just literally ensuring that I take 10 minutes out of my day and knowing what I want to do in that 10 minutes. I think it's about organising myself.
Definitely.
A lot of the times it's like, we come home and we're tired, and then we go to mosque every night maybe, or, we're busy sort of waiting for iftar time, and then, Sahoor time, and it just
goes
passes.
quickly.
Exactly.
It does,
So I think it's just organising myself, and I'm not, it doesn't have to be hours and hours, even 10 minutes of just, okay, today I'm going to look at this dua.
Wow, that's just so brilliant and beautiful advice, and inshallah we will all benefit, and please do keep us in your du'as.
Inshallah, you too, please.
And thank you so much. Inshallah we'll benefit more in future programs. And right now we have QT Abbas, and he's going to give us daily hadith, and thereafter we have fiqh questions answered.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abbas, and I'm here to bring you the daily hadith from Ahlul Bayt, peace be upon them. Today's hadith is all about Ramadan. Why is it called Ramadan? What does Ramadan mean? The Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, and his family said, surely the month of Ramadan has been named Ramadan because it scorches away the sins. So Ramadan is a month in which our sins can be forgiven. So we should use the time wisely to do good stuff, not bad stuff, because if we do, no one knows what will happen. See you next time, inshallah.
Morning, Baraka. Fiqh, your questions answered. Assalamu alaikum, Sayyid. Good to see you today.
Alaikum salam. Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Always a pleasure. Here we are. At this time period, we have some interesting questions. Isn't that right, Zahra? We have a few
I'm
interesting
just
queries.
wondering where your energy is from. You must have had a good iftar, healthy, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah, always
High in sugar.
Blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fruit and yogurt, that's what I like to eat in the evening.
Good,
Really?
Good.
Indeed.
So do you have a proper meal at Sahoor?
I try to, my mum makes parathas and stuff. A bit heavy for me.
We
Fruit
can't
and
miss
yogurt.
your mum's
Spoiled.
Baraka.
Yeah,
You've been
exactly.
spoiled. You've been spoiled.
Well, welcome to this season.
Thank you for having me.
This
The
holy
Ramadan
month,
season.
Indeed, the blessed month.
inshallah. So we have questions from our viewers. And today's discussion is from a mother, a concerned mother from the UK. She says, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum
I
salam.
have a child who is Barak and has Asperger's. He has difficulty concentrating at the best of times. Currently, he is preparing for his exams, which are very important. I was wondering, due to his disabilities, can we postpone his fast during the exam period? And can he make the fast up after the month?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let's tackle this issue first with the exam side, then with the mental condition. For the youth out there that want to actually, have got exams coming up and think that they may be excused from fasting this month because of exams, I'm afraid you're not, and you have to fulfill your duty, and the fast is obligatory upon them. So yes, exam time is not an excuse, and you cannot be excused from fasting. Now, moving on to the mental condition.
Because that's a specific neurological condition. Asperger's is a type of autism.
Indeed. Depending on the severity, and depending on, because the main thing is this: there are people who do have, mental conditions, whether it's ADHD or global delay or, behavioral issues. If they can distinguish between right and wrong, then the ahkam laws apply. If they can't, then they are excused, and the ahkam laws don't apply to them because they can't make decisions based on a clear conscience, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Can we use that term like what they use when they're talking about people who, for example, have mental health problems, or older people who have, for example, Alzheimer's? You say they lack capacity.
Indeed.
To make decisions on their own behalf because the mental problems are so severe.
Indeed.
Right.
Indeed. So they are excused, but someone has like ADHD, which is just being hyperactive, and it's like an attention disorder. They can still they still have the mental capacity and to function as a normal person. It's just that they just want more attention, or they just have so much energy in them. That doesn't qualify yourself to be excused from fasting.
What if a student is very, a lot of children right now are taking GCSEs, A levels, and perhaps not at the peak of their sort of growth, and they perhaps on the weaker side of growth, and they get weak because of fasting. They get unwell, although we know that fasting has its spiritual benefits, physical benefits, but perhaps they need to have regular meals to keep their concentration. Would they be excused at any point?
Okay, if we're talking about concentration, then no.
Performance based.
Performance based, no, because we all know that during Ramadan our performance does dip, our concentration does dip because of the lack of vitamins and dehydration and so forth. But this is part of fasting. This is what it's about. It's to make you feel the hunger and thirst of those who go without, and those who cannot afford, or those who are in worse status than yourself.
Yeah.
So that's the whole purpose of Ramadan. It's just to feel that. Now, with the youth, if they are getting ill, then this is an excuse.
Right.
Because depending on their illness, some people, they need food. Their blood sugar levels are so low that they collapse. Unconsciousness is one of the you could say one of the terms that
will prohibit you.
Sorry, let me say again. So if
losing consciousness.
If someone's eating, with lack of sugar and losing consciousness, So if we have an individual who, because of lack of food and nutrition in the body, collapses due to low sugar and goes unconscious, their fast is void. Losing consciousness
breaks fast.
It does. Losing consciousness breaks fast, according to the Grand Maharaja, the Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq Shirazi. It is void. You are allowed to eat and drink something to get your health back, but it's clear that the fast is taking its turn on you.
Yeah.
So in those situations, in those cases, yes, for the youth, for young people who maybe their body is not as developed to do such long fasts, if it does take a turn on their health, then there is an option for them to break their fast, eat a little, not to fill themselves up and carry on like a normal day. No, just eat a little and just to carry on throughout the day, and you can make that fast up later on for the next Ramadan.
And then would you suggest perhaps the next day to take a break, or something that they could monitor their
That
health?
depends on the doctor. You should. I would say go see your doctor and ask your doctor. If they say, oh, it was just a one-off, or do you know what, start introducing more sugar into your diet and more nutrition. When you are allowed to eat, then maybe it won't happen again.
So if they can get an iftar meal plan that could facilitate a better slow carbohydrate release or blood
Exactly.
sugar release or something like this, that might still make the fast possible. So you're talking about being quite informed by medical decisions,
Yes.
depending on how the rulings would then apply based on
Indeed.
on secular medical conditions.
Yes.
And I think this is where also meal planning, you talk about meal plans, that it's important to ensure that the children have the nutrients that they need and drink plenty of water at that time that
Definitely.
we can, because
Mhm.
I think your body will end up suffering, won't it?
Definitely.
As the long fasts are settling, and maybe we'll get a heat wave as we
Indeed.
do in the UK. When it's
Yes,
holy
it's
month.
very important
It's
to
warm.
keep hydrated. I think hydration is
That's the most important thing.
key.
Yeah.
Especially with the long fast and the heat.
No.
We sweat at least 2-3 liters of water out of our body during the day. So we need to make sure we're
Things like
replenishing.
watermelon, cucumbers. I mean, I don't know what else,
Exactly.
Brother Bilal, you'd
Strawberries,
recommend.
Yeah.
kiwis,
But you're right.
Water.
Things like cucumbers are some of the best, because
Yeah.
drinking water is good, but you also need to eat foods which are
Yes.
high in water content.
Mm.
You know, bologna, what they call garden eggs, and cucumbers and things like that.
Yeah.
But
Watermelon.
melon's a superfood as well.
I know we were joking at the beginning, Barakas and all these
Yes.
lovely samosas, but at the end we have such a critical time, as a short time to eat, that the children need their sort of energy, and anybody actually working,
Exactly.
going
Yeah.
through the day. So
A long day is a long day for everyone.
yes.
Indeed.
But as we're talking about health concerns, I know in the UK we've published through medical experts saying about not fasting if you've got certain chronic diseases like diabetes. You could be prone to certain infections like urine infections and things, and to monitor your health. But what about those people? And I know GP friends of mine, general practitioner friends of mine, that have said they have Muslims coming and saying, yes, but you know what, I want to fast because it's what I want. It's my obedience to Allah. That doesn't matter if I've got kidney disease. It doesn't matter if I've got diabetes. I'm going to fast. As fiqh, would you please explain?
Fiqh-wise, the person with the illness who knows that fasting will cause a detrimental effect,
They're fully aware of that.
worsen the condition,
Yeah.
should opt out of fasting, because Islam is a religion of peace and ease. We're not here to medically make you worse. We're here to medically benefit you. Fasting will not benefit. You're talking to someone with a kidney issue. A very common issue is gastritis or stomach ulcers, where a long fast will cause it to worsen due to the acidity levels increasing and the ulcer getting worse.
Can we make it another time a year when the days are much shorter, for example?
Will be a lot easier, but I'm sure someone who's got a stomach ulcer with a 19-hour fast, if those are fasting 19 hours up to 19 and a half hours, I'm sure a doctor would say to them, this will not help. It would actually worsen your condition.
Yeah.
You can't do this. Now, if that person insists that, no, I'm going to do it.
Because there will be some that feel that way.
God help them. But I'm not here to say that, oh, your fast will be accepted. I'm not here to say your fast won't be accepted. I'm here to tell you that from an ahkam point of view, your doctor has told you that this will worsen your condition, opt out.
You're supposed to adhere to the advice, the medical advice of the experts.
Yes. You are allowed to make up for that later
Because
on.
people will struggle. I mean, I've known a brother that has been ill in Ramadan because he had an operation, and he was very upset as the month was approaching. And I said to him, what's the fuss? Because Islam is, as you said, it wishes us ease. So the doctors are saying you need certain injections, you need to take certain medication. It's not going to work out for you. Fasting's a bad idea. And he said, but who wants to fast alone? So the idea of having to make up people feel like they're missing out because they know Ramadan is a gift, and fasting with the believers is different from making up your fast.
You don't need to disassociate yourself and remove yourself from the community. You can still enjoy in the festivities, we could say.
Yeah.
You can still go down to the mosque.
Still do the ibadah, the amal,
exactly.
the spirituality.
If you're not fasting, why not help serve the iftar? Why not sponsor the iftar? If you've got more energy, why not, maybe there's some people who are finding the fast difficult. Why don't you ask them, is there anything I can do for you? I'm not fasting because of my medical condition, so I have energy. Maybe you need pick up kids from school or something, or take them to
There's still a chance to reap some extra
Yeah,
rewards.
Exactly.
But I think the critical point that people miss in that attitude, and I know, if there's years that you can't fast, absolutely you feel like you're not maybe you're not blessed, that you're not getting the blessings that Allah has given on this month. But the critical point is that if Allah is saying it's against your health, if you are healthy, fast, and if you're not healthy, surely the reward is in the obedience to what Allah is saying. If He's saying to us fast because you're healthy, that's the obedience and the reward we get.
Yeah, the fast dictates you. You don't dictate the fast, but the emotional connection with Ramadan.
But that's it. If you give your sort of your belief and trust in Allah that He's saying my health isn't okay and I can't fast, then He will reward you equally to a person who's fasting, because the critical point is the obedience. So whether we're not fasting because we're using exams as an excuse or something else as an excuse, the point is it's Allah's command upon us, fast. So if we're not able to fast, it's not due to our, choice. We're saying, I'm submitting to Allah's will. I'm not fasting because He has said.
No, indeed,
my health.
indeed. The beliefs are those who say they hear and they obey, right?
Yeah.
They hear what Allah has commanded and they obey.
And I think if we change our thinking, we'd actually not feel as bad that we're missing the fast, because again, it's in obedience to Allah's command that we're not fasting. So and it is really.
Furthermore, I wanted to say that when we go traveling during Ramadan, you're not allowed to fast. And some people might say, "Oh, I'm just going to keep the fast while I travel. I can do it. I can handle it." You have to make that fast back.
What is the ruling? What is the ruling?
You have to make that one back.
Said, what is the ruling if you're traveling for a certain period of time? Does it change the dynamics? Like if I'm going to travel abroad for over 10 days,
it's the same as when we have the qasr prayer.
Okay.
You have the 9-10 day gap depending on the marja. It's normally 10 days.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be in a place for less than 10 days, you don't fast. You have to make them up.
Yes.
Before the next Ramadan. If you're there for longer than 10 days, then you have to fast. But the day you travel, you don't fast on that day.
Yeah.
So the first, so while you're traveling, you won't fast on that day. But when you arrive, then you'll start.
It doesn't matter if you leave after Zohor, the day you're traveling.
It does indeed, depending on the time. If
you
leave after,
time factor, yeah.
If you leave before Zohor, and you arrive at your destination before Zohor as well, then you have to continue your fast. But if you leave before Zohor and you arrive after Zohor, then you have to open your fast. If you leave after Dhuhr, then you have to continue your fast.
Can I quickly ask you, we don't have much time, literally under in a minute, but about people who deliberately fast and go on holidays?
Yes.
Quickly. Is that a good idea?
It is makruh to run away from fasting. It is makruh to run away from fasting. However, it is not haram. So in the summertime, for those of you who've got 30 days off work or something, Australia sounds pretty nice because it's their winter time. Go for 30 days and you can do your whole Ramadan over there and come back. But obviously, the days you're traveling, you'd have to make that up depending on what time you left.
As you mentioned.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Really interesting.
Yep.
Food for thought.
Mashallah.
Inshallah, another morning we'll see you. Thank you, Sayyid, and inshallah you have a blessed
inshallah,
fast.
You too.
Inshallah, thank you. And that's all we have time for this morning. Enjoy the rest of your suhoor, and may you have a blessed fast as well.